Hey, it's Miss Akar back with another studio visit. And in this studio visit, we're going to be going through the archives. Not the way back archives, but kind of far back archives. My earliest memories consist of watching my grandmother, her sisters, and brothers wind to the wee hours of the morning to Tiny Whiny and various old school soca jams. I often joke that soca is the techno of black music. If you want to hang at a soca jam, it requires all kinds of stamina. There's no standing on the walls. There's no chilling off to the side. Soca completely envelops you. You have to be inside of soca. In 2016, I attended Trinidad's Carnival for the first time. Being of Caribbean descent, Carnival, soca music, and the culture in general is very familiar. This trip was extremely special because it was the first time I experienced this culture, my culture, fully embraced by society. In Toronto, you have Caravana, and it's fun, but the city tolerates Caravana because it brings in so much money. In New York, you have the West Indian Labor Day Parade, and that's a good time, except for that time I almost got ran over by a cop trying to disperse the crowds. New York also seems to simply tolerate the West Indian Day Parade, but Trinidad is down for the whole thing. Municipal buildings are closed, financial institutions are closed. This is a nationwide celebration. Throughout the days leading up to the parade, you can hear various steel pan bands practicing all throughout Port of Spain. Late night until the early hours of the morning, you can peek into store fronts that are filled with costumes in various states of completion. The whole place is down for Carnival. To experience that particular version of Carnival was a freedom that I had never experienced. One of the great things about it was that it's a multi-generational event. So you see your grandma, your aunties, the kids, everybody, the whole city shuts down just to have this release. It's a celebration of color, movement, dancing, everything. And it seems like everyone understands that this release is imperative to the workings of society. Waiting to get through customs, I ended up conversing with a gentleman who told me he had been slowly upping his intake of alcohol, so he was going to be ready for the amount of fetes that he was going to have. A fete is a party or a lively gathering. For many of them, the ticket price includes food and liquor. You have breakfast fetes, boat fetes, dinner fetes, lunch fetes, pre-carnival fetes, etc. The fetes are a 24-hour situation. Throughout Carnival, you'll often see people with multiple plastic bracelets that act as tickets to various fetes. Before we get into all these lovely bodies and reminders of warm sunlight on our skin, let's get into the history of the celebration. Carnival is a Christian festive season that occurs before the season of Lent. The main events typically occur during February or early March during the period historically known as pre-Lent. Carnival typically involves public celebrations, including events such as parades, public street parties, and other entertainments, combining some elements of a circus. Elaborate costumes and masks allow people to set aside their everyday individuality and experience a heightened sense of social unity. Participants often indulge in excessive consumption of alcohol, meat, and other foods that will be foregone during the upcoming Lent. From an anthropological point of view, Carnival is a reversal ritual in which societal roles are reversed and norms about desired behaviors are suspended. And like most things in this region of the world, once black folks got a hold of Carnival, they took it to a whole nother level. They were not invited to the ceremonies of their masters and would often put on their own festivals making fun of their masters, and so this became a partially satirical event. This whole experience got me thinking about the idea of being completely free, losing one's inhibitions, and being able to practice ceremony without judgment, over-policing, or unnecessary parameters. Basically, what's it like to be free? How do we cultivate ways in which we can perpetually tap into that experience? Years later, many of the images that I shot during this experience would be used for various design projects such as Michelle Montano's Soca Volume 1 and Soca Volume 2. Both of these design projects sit dear to my heart as they depict current visual representations of us by us. They depict rarely publicly displayed cross-generational expressions of freedom and joy within Blackness. I'm reflecting on this experience in a chilly 23-degree Philadelphia. I'm sharing this because in a time where it's so challenging to gather, be around people, and share this type of energy, I hope these images serve as a reminder that the energy does exist and it's part of our narrative.